ask if Dr. Solan, as much as he can, to answer some of the lingering questions that are out there. If you can do so publicly, if not, I highly encourage that you call the superintendent's office directly with whatever situation or concern you may have. But if you can do so, Dr. Solan, to address.
Sure. In terms of evaluating threats, it is something that, unfortunately we do on a pretty regular basis. My personal background is I do have a master's degree in counseling and psychological services and extensive training in threat assessment, as do our administrators and mental health professionals. I'm not sure what time anybody else notified the police on Monday. We evaluated the situation, including contact with the teacher, and didn't deem it in the threat. The idea that the police make different decisions based on your political views is something that I would let Chief Drife respond to. That has not been my experience with them, but certainly he could better articulate the perspective of the police department on that. They determine if people get arrested. The superintendent does not. That's not something that's within my purview. And she was not at school or any school on Monday. And the idea that, I might compromise student safety to protect our interests is insulting, frankly. But, that's sort of paramount for us. And I think we handle things in that manner. With respect to a just cause part of the contract, you can terminate people for cause. The statements that are made get evaluated with respect to free speech rights. I don't call dispatch when I've got a police issue that we're trying to address. I'll call some of the professionals that I work with in the department. Usually our school resource officers are one of the first calls, or I contact the chief directly. I don't call through dispatch, so dispatch probably wouldn't know about it. With respect to a student in the field, honestly, I know nothing about that. I can't comment on that. I just don't know anything about it. There are laws that dictate how we manage employment versus how we manage new situations. I think in each case, we evaluate the circumstances within the bounds of the law, and we operate as expediently and as we need to address those situations. Again, the police department, they make those determinations about what happens with an arrest. With respect to employment, we work very closely with our legal counsel to make determinations. And I know that in my follow-up letter to the community on Wednesday, I was more explicit about why my initial communication on Monday was framed the way it was. The content of that video was important, but I wasn't in a position where I could say that without compromising the school system on Monday. And so I did. In terms of the teacher being able to get another job or not, and that's also beyond my control, whether or not they get hired by somebody else. If the state were to evaluate it, there are no charges against her. I don't know that they would ever pull her certification, but that's, again, outside of my purview. That's something, the decision that the state would make. I don't have that level of authority to rescind a teacher's certification or anything like that. So, I think hindsight is always 20/20, and we evaluate, especially situations like this that are really significant from a lot of different perspectives. is to how we can ensure the safety. I mean, one of the things that bothers me most is that the statement rattled people in our community. It scared people in our community. It undermined confidence of people not only in our community but broader in what educators do for our students and families, and that's the entire thing is really hurtful, and it's cost a lot of lost sleep for myself, for people I care about, for people in this room, I'm sure a lot of you. And so we will continue to evaluate this and determine how we can improve on anything that we could potentially improve on, or address laws that may need to be reviewed, or just in all aspects of what we do, because we take what we do incredibly seriously. And nothing is more important than the trust that our community has in our staff, in our people, and I feel terrible because that was compromised. And if anything I did to foster that feeling, then I apologize for that. That's not something that we wake up in the morning aspiring to do on any level. So I appreciate the many people in our community who are doing their best to move past this. And people still have concerns, as Ms. Rosenberg said. Certainly you can call my office and do what we can to address those concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Solan. I'd also ask we have a lot of state mandates and we're supposed to follow them because they are mandated. And I also really appreciate if any of you could address this to the State Board of Ed or CSDE in support of us, because some things are, like Dr. Solan said, are pretty much out of our sphere of influence, so to speak. So again, thank you for coming out and addressing it publicly. With regards to the book comments, if at all possible, and I know our next committee report is actually curriculum, but